Do you ever feel like a hamster on a wheel, going harder and harder, faster and faster, day after day after day, and getting nowhere? Hi, my name is Dee. Welcome to the Money Growth Academy, where we demystify the stock market, simplify investing, and multiply your opportunities for financial success. One of the things I want to talk to you about today is something I kind of mentioned in another video, and it's called the highest paying savings account in 2019. If you haven't watched that, make sure you go back and watch that. And because in that video I start and I talk about the average American doesn't even have $400 saved in their savings account, cash that they can get their hands on. And to me, that's both tragic and yet understandable, right? Because it is difficult to save money. And that's one of the reasons why we built this particular YouTube channel, is for that reason, is to help people do what they need to do, find out what the principles are, how to apply those principles so that they can have financial wealth and success in their lives. So let's dig in. I found that most people, including myself, have much more money available to ourselves than we think. And the problem for most of us is we just don't know where the money goes. We know it goes, we just don't know exactly where. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you just a few ideas, some information about personal finance that I believe should be taught in every school, everywhere, even universities, high schools. At least you shouldn't be able to get out of high school without this information. I think it'll help you squeeze a lot more dollars out of your budget and show you that you have a lot more money available out of your paycheck than you think you do. Money to pay off debt, start investing in a side hustle or investing in the market, investing towards retirement, and just really get yourself moving. And so I want to share that with you today. And this is the bold truth, right? So no one's coming to fix your financial problems. Not a rich dad, not a lucky lottery win, and certainly not the government. But what we do want to give you here on the Money Growth Academy is to give you the tools, the knowledge and the skill, and show you the pathway to using these tools so that you can create financial wealth for yourself and for your family. The reality is no one cares about you financially but you. You've heard it before. It's not what you make, it's what you keep that matters. Well, I'm going to twist that around just a little bit for you and rephrase that. It's not what you make, right, that makes the difference. It's what you keep and where you keep it that makes the difference. And today we're going to talk about what you keep and give you some strategies that you can go to town with today, that you can go operate and function today after you get off of this video. And I want you to get this because it's not, it is the two things, right? It's what you keep and where you keep it. And I've got some examples of that, and I want to share that with you. And of some folks from very mediocre means that did some incredible things. Take Sylvia Bloom, for instance. She was an administrative assistant for an executive. She was worth $8 million when she died. She gave away over $6 million to the Henry Street settlement on New York's East Side. Donation, charity. And by the way, Sylvia had no stock training. And it says here that although she had a few dollars to work with that she had, just that little bit of money, what would happen is her boss would have her put a stock order in for him. And whatever he bought, she would take the little bit of money that she had and she'd buy just a few shares, right? Because that's all she could afford. And that's what she did. And it's an amazing story by just doing that, how she was able to utilize time, leverage time, and the right investments, and over $8 million at her death she was worth. Here's another one. Gladys Holmes, another administrative assistant, starting to make you think that maybe we should be administrative assistants. Well, no. So what she had left when she died is $18 million, and she donated that to the Children's Hospital when she died. This lady, Gladys, never, ever, ever made more than $15,000 a year. Never more than $15,000 a year. She bought whatever stock her boss purchased. She just buy what she could, when she could, and she would just buy those in those smaller amounts. And another one, Gracie Groner, another administrative assistant, and she left $7 million when she died, and she did the exact same thing. And here's another one, Monsignor James McSweeney. He was a Catholic priest, right? He's worth nearly $1 million when he died. Here's a guy that lived really below the poverty line most of his life, and he focused on investments in his free time, and is worth nearly $1 million. Here's another one, Genesio Moralici was a part-time janitor and dry cleaner, and he left $2.3 million to Montana's University of Great Falls when he died. Now, how's that possible? Wait, didn't you just say, Dee, that he lived below the poverty line? I did. Here's another one, Ronald Reed, another janitor and part-time investor. Again, are you getting a sense that it's not how much you make, it's but how much you keep and where you keep it? He was worth $8 million when he died. How? Buying and holding shares of Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan Chase, and CVS Health. Thomas Dre Jr., a retired teacher, left a donation of $6.8 million to the Boston Public Library. Here's a teacher that spent his time researching companies, stocks and companies at the Boston Library. He winds up donating, when he died, $6.8 million to the library. Another one, Jay Jensen, another retired teacher, was worth several $1 million when he died. Never earned more than $47,000 a year teaching school. Very frugal living, invested in blue chip stocks for 40 years. Florence Ballinger, yep, another retired teacher, accumulated more than $6 million. Frugal living, but she loved to travel, and she would travel and do those types of things. I think we're talked about teachers, janitors, just everyday people, right? Administrative assistants. And here's the last one, and this one's fun. Donald and Mildred Othmer, right? Their estate was worth some $800 million when they passed. They were members of a group of people that bought $50,000 worth of Berkshire Hathaway back in the 60s and never sold it. And those holdings were worth $800 million. So $50,000 to $800 million investing in Berkshire Hathaway. That's Warren Buffett, if you're not aware, and Charlie Munger's company. And so much for diversification, right? $800 million. Again, it's not what you make, right? It's what you keep and where you keep it. And again, we'll talk more about where you keep it, but at first we're going to talk about how do you keep more. These are just a few stories. There are many, many more just like it. And I just wanted to give you a taste for some of that. In this video, I want to share with you some incredible, very, very, very simple principles of how you can take control of your financial future. I've always heard that common sense is actually very uncommon. And what I'm going to share with you in regards to these principles, they're very commonsensical, but you will find out that they're very uncommon because not a lot of people actually do them. But if they did do them, they would find that they could apply this in their lives and experience the power that comes from actually applying these things. This is a simple plan, and it's discussed in a book. And this particular book is one that I like. It came out about 2006, and I found it probably one of the best, at least the top 3 books that I know of when it comes to talking about budgeting, because I don't know about you, but budgeting is not a fun subject to talk about. And the book's called All You're Worth, The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. And it's written by Elizabeth Warren and her daughter, Amelia Warren Tayegi. And again, it was written in 2006. It's All You're Worth, The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. And it's going to be down in our notes, so you'll be able to find a link to it. It was a bestseller, by the way. And if you haven't read it, I am going to highly suggest that if you want to put more money back in your pocket at the end of the month, that you read this book. Look, I don't care what persuasion of politics that you're in. Don't let this one slip away because who she is or she doesn't align to your politics. We're talking principles here and not politics. And I guarantee you that if you'll go back and you'll read this book, you will be absolutely amazed. And it will be one of those golden books that you'll often refer to in your library. I liked it because it was very simplistic to read. It wasn't this big weighty book, and it's really about getting control of your money. And it did it without making me feel like I had to organize all these spreadsheets. I had to put together all these complicated budgets. I had to make sure I counted every penny, which was just way too tedious and way overwhelming for me. I never could accomplish what I did financially without a plan similar to this. So it was refreshing to find out that somebody actually had put something like this together. And again, I've always loved this book. And this book really is all you're worth. It really is about getting your money in balance. The book breaks finances down into 3 categories. It needs, and these are things you must have. Wants, you don't need these things, but they are nice to have from time to time. And savings. It says savings, but I actually add on there charitable donations as well, because to me, in addition to my savings, my ability to give away, even when I didn't have much, I felt that I was blessed for it. So savings, a big thing. So those 3 categories: needs, right, wants, and savings. So it breaks down these 3 areas. And let me show you the chart here, just so you get a feel for it. So it's called a 50-30-20 budget. 50% of your money should go to your needs, and then 30% of your budget should go to savings, and then 20% to take care of wants. Now let's take a look at needs. So needs are things like, groceries, food you got to eat, housing, utilities, health insurance, car payment, those things. So those are needs, right? Your wants, shopping that you do, that's dining out, that's some hobbies. These are things that are nice to do. They're not necessary, but they're nice to do from time to time. And then you have your savings. And again, I added charitable donations. 50-30-20 rule, it's really a goal, right? So everybody's going to be in a little different place, and realize you might already have some contracts signed that are specific to what those needs are, and you're kind of contracted by those. And so if you're not there yet, hey, don't freak out. If you're not exactly 50-30-20, again, these are goals. These are where you want to get to, but maybe not where you are right now. I found this to be the simplest way to budget, because I don't know about you, I don't like tracking all this stuff and worrying about the pennies. This is focused on the dollars and not so much on the pennies. So you're going to look at your needs section, see where you can negotiate better insurance rates, refinance if needed, make adjustments to your utilities, bring them in line to get you closer. So everything you're doing in that needs categories, you're looking at your needs and you're looking at ways to get a little better in those areas, to save some money, right? For me, is going back, and every 2 years, I look at my insurance policies, all of them, and I take a look at the market and see where there might be some more competition there and an opportunity to get the same services or better for less. That's what I'm looking for. And then looking at your wants to see what you can modify there that you can bring closer to that 20% target. So again, if you're not quite there, when you kind of put everything down, you look at it, it says, well, my needs, I'm way over 50% of my total income, because that's what you're doing. You're taking your net income and then you're dividing the net income in between these 3 buckets, right? 50% of your net income should be to pay for those needs, right? 30% of that of your net income should go to your savings, and then 20% should go to pay your wants. Okay, so 50, 30, 20. And again, remember, this is not an overnight program. This is an over and over program that you do, so that until you get your buckets lined up, and so that they work within these ratios, within these 50, 30, 20, and allow you to manage to get to that balance. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over time. But you can feel, some people said they saw the impact within the first 30 days. It was just that quick for some people and just that dramatic. So All You're Worth, the ultimate lifetime money plan. I was listening to a guy once on one of these videos on YouTube, and he made it sound like if you were poor and you were born poor, the chances of you staying poor. Now, I could have misheard heard that, but I kept going over and over. But I'm going to tell you, folks, poverty is not permanent. Poverty is not permanent, nor is it genetic. It's just a difference between learning some principles, identifying those principles, and then applying those principles in life. It's like science. If you apply a principle, you apply it in the proper way, you're going to get the proper result. So same thing here. It's about these principles. So it's not about where you start in life, right? It's about where you have the opportunity to finish. And to finish, that's going to be a choice. That's a personal choice that you'll have to make to move. A personal choice to learn, a personal choice to apply what you learn, and to just keep moving through that cycle over and over. If you have within you the capacity to learn and the ability to lean in on faith a little bit, I'm going to tell you, you're going to make it, because I'm no different than you are. You're going to make it. You can win financially. I don't care if you're watching this video and you're down in the dumps, destitute, can't figure out where the next nickel is. I'm going to tell you, if you'll just look up and look out, what you're going to find out is as you uncover these principles that we're going to share with you on the Money Growth Academy, you're going to find the success that you want. And certainly we invite you back every Monday and Wednesday so you can get some more of these principles so you can begin to apply them in your life as soon as possible. You know, one of the questions I get a lot about investing is that more and more people would like to learn to invest, but they don't feel like they have enough money to do that. First of all, I'm telling you, it doesn't take a lot of money to learn to invest. So, and to prove that to you, go back and watch our video, How to Buy Stocks for a Beginner. And there you'll learn how to open a stock trading account at zero cost and begin buying stocks with just $100. And also I share several different brokerage firms. I kind of give you a breakdown of some of the brokerage firms, some kind of pros and cons about each of those. I'll tell you this, if you take the time to read All You're Worth, and it is also on audio tape, The Ultimate Lifetime Plan by Elizabeth Warren and her daughter, I promise you it will be one of 3 of the most important financial books you'll ever read, and it will change your life. And we have the link below for the Amazon, so where you can find that book on Amazon. Make sure you click on that link, get that book, put that book in your library, but more importantly, read it. I've heard people say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I'm not sure I buy that completely, but this I know for sure. If you're not deliberate about your goals and about your plans, you may end up exactly where you never planned to be. Make sure you go back and watch our video, Highest Paying Savings Accounts 2019, so you know exactly where to put all that money that you were able to save. And if you need help investing, check out our latest video, How to Invest Your First $1,000, and you'll be shocked to see what's possible. Hit that like button now, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. If your savings account is paying you less than 2%, it's time for a new bank account.